Yes, okay, we'll get this meeting started. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're all on. You turned yours off.
Now you're on. Someone was kind of turned them on for us.
Okay, let the record reflect that all board members are present. Student, or 4.0 student representation, representative information.
All right. The one act play this year is called Medea, and is set in ancient Greece. This year, just like the fall play, will be an Eveleth, Gilbert, Virginia play. Boys and girls hockey has started. The girls' next meet is tomorrow, and is an away game against North Shore. The boys' next game is also tomorrow in Virginia. Speech is starting soon. There will be a small meeting after school on the 27th. Youth in Action is hosting a food drive that will go through the 22nd. The grade that brings in the most food will receive a small prize. Representatives from the Allworth Scholarship Fund and the Duluth Superior Area Community Foundation will be giving a presentation tomorrow at 9:30 in the auditorium. Girls basketball has also started. Their next game is home against Silver Bay.
Thank you.
That's it?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
5.0, or 6.0, visitor input. Do we have anybody who wants to speak? What's that? Oh, 5.0, excuse me, 5.0, agenda, additions and deletions. Do we have any? Okay. You had a bunch, you got a bunch of stuff that you wanted to add to the agenda?
No, just as we talked at the committee meeting ahead of time, just before this meeting, it's, if it's not on the agenda, I just assume not, it's not on the public agenda, the agenda that we get earlier, I'll ask you next time to put it on the agenda, and we'll go from there.
So our next meeting is next week. So we'll have those items on the agenda for discussion.
Okay.
Okay?
I don't want to just pop them and surprise them on tonight, okay?
Okay, thank you. So then we have none. Okay, 6.0, visitor input. Do we have anybody who wants to speak? Dana?
Push it out a little bit.
Push it out.
That way.
Yes.
More. Okay.
Okay, I've talked to some people about this before. I'm here tonight about the non-public pupil transportation aid. And, well, I have 4 kids that are enrolled in a private school in Hibbing. And I would like to receive mileage reimbursement or non-public pupil transportation aid. I've talked to the state, NDE, and I understand that there is a fund available. Okay, I think I forwarded emails to people. It's $873 per kid. Okay, and I know it's payable at the end of the year after reading information from other school districts off of their websites. I know it's, I think it's payable at the end of the year because then you can verify their enrollment and the dates that they attended, and you can do all the math and all that. And my understanding is that, and I got this information from a lady named Kelly Wasika from NDE, and I think I forwarded it to a lot of people. She said that there is no reason why I should not be able to access that aid. Now, I understand that Mr. Carey is saying, no, I can't access the aid. I can't get mileage reimbursement or paid for mileage transportation because Eveleth is offering to transport my kids to the EG border, which is Crossroads gas station. You know, that would be fine if that would help them get to school. But that doesn't help them get to school. It really doesn't. Because there is no connecting transportation from that location. Okay, now, my understanding is that the heart and the meaning behind the statutes, the transportation statutes and the aid, is to help families get their kids to school. Okay? I have chosen to enroll my 4 kids in a private school outside the district, and that's perfectly within my rights, as is accessing this aid money. So I want the board to vote on that at some point, whether or not I can do that. Whether or not you guys, Mr. Carey has said no.
Okay, so, I hate to interrupt, but what exactly are you, I mean, if our legal counsel has stated to us that we are bringing these kids out to the border, okay, out to the border of our district, you're looking for money to take them in your car
I'm looking,
you're looking for money for reimbursement to draw that connection between the 2 districts, or the district 2 away.
No,
I don't know if I'm saying that right.
I understand that I would be reimbursed for mileage from my house to Eveleth's border, or to the Crossroads gas station, which is roughly 12 miles or so. Mileage, only that far, not all the way to their school in Hibbing. I know that, and I really think that you guys need to examine these laws yourself.
So let me ask you, I guess, I don't know the dollar amount, but what do you, just give me an example of a simple number, dollar-wise, are you looking for so much a mile, times how many miles, times how many kids, or?
The transportation aid is $873 per child per school year, okay? And I know that.
How did they come to that number?
I have no idea, but that's what Kelly Wasika from NDE told me.
So you don't have any information on how she came to that number?
No, I think that's based on, it varies per district. And I don't, just like the general education fund varies per district. Okay,
So, I mean,
So
our legal counsel says we're doing what we need to do, to take them out to the border, okay, that's to the board, that's what we are doing, okay? And we're so, taking them out to the border, so making the connection between the district, that's 1 district away, or 2, I don't know, I guess I don't know how to say it. I mean, I guess I don't know what you want this district to do.
I understand that would be a reasonable situation, a reasonable thing to do, if there were a connecting ride. But there is no way to get them from that location to their school, and that is the meaning of this transportation law. That's the meaning of it, and
Do you know what the law is?
Well, I gave you guys the statutes.
I guess this is my thought on this, sorry for a second.
Okay.
My thought on this is if we have consulted with our legal counsel regarding this matter, I think as long as we're doing what we need to legally be doing, then the legal counsel and Jeff should contact her and let her know that. It sounds like that's happened. As long as I think all of us here just want to make sure that we're doing what we're responsible to do.
Correct.
Can I say
But
something again?
the attorney,
Right.
yeah, hold on one second. If the attorney is giving us advisement that we are doing that, then I think the decision's been made.
That's correct. I'll have to agree with that.
Well, actually, there's more to the law than just that. There really is, and I don't think that you guys have studied it or read it.
But
there
that's
is
why
a
we have the
safety aspect.
legal
I don't-
counsel. Sorry,
There's
but
a
that's why we
safety
have
aspect of it.
we have legal counsel, because none of us are lawyers.
I know.
So we consult with the legal counsel to give us that guidance, and from my understanding, because once you did email, I got one of the emails, I did contact Mr. Carey to say, have we contacted legal counsel to find out what we legally are responsible to do? And my understanding was that that has been done.
So he thinks that you're fulfilling your responsibility, he thinks that you're fulfilling the law by dropping my kids off at a border when there is nobody coming to get them.
That's what my
There is
understanding
nobody
is.
coming to get them. Are you providing for their safety by doing that?
All I can
The
say
law.
is, all I can say is,
Okay,
we're
fine.
consulting with legal counsel
So,
to determine what our responsibility is.
I have something else to say about the aid aspect. Go ahead, Kelly.
thank you. Can I speak?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. I, so the attorney made a determination, yes, that was meeting our minimum standards, is how I see it. We're meeting our minimum standards, great. I was still kind of interested in, are we doing what would be best for these students, whether there are students or not, they still, are receiving an education and they're still within our district. So what is being brought up and what Dana is bringing up to us and has been sent over and forwarded over to Mrs. Williams and to Spencer, is that, yes, we can meet our requirements by what the attorney says by the statute, but there's another piece of it that because of the distance for the schools for where the children are attending school, that I would think that there's a cost to it for you to drive the children every day to school. Granting, I get that you're choosing it, yes, but there's still a cost. So this would allow you to be able to get some level of that cost back by us contracting with her to provide the transportation, and then that aid then can be tapped into by providing by doing the non-public transportation aid, and that's at the end of the year, and so I do think that that's a different component. I don't know if the board wants to look at that. I believe that our administration has looked at it and made the determination that they're working within the rights or within the statute, and that's good. But the other piece, it's another piece of it.
The other piece to me is, I think what she's bringing up is the safety issue of just dropping them off at a gas station.
But we didn't create that.
No, it's,
We don't create that.
we're getting them, I know, but safety is part of our responsibility.
Absolutely.
It does say that in the law, that you cannot just drop them off without a safe place to wait.
And so I think that's one of
I
her
guess
issues.
I was,
We dropped some of our own students off at the same time.
But there's a ride coming for
Is
them.
it unfair for them?
Well, maybe it's not safe for any of them.
There's a ride coming for your
I don't know.
other
It's not safe
students.
for us to drop them
I don't know.
anywhere we do in the country.
I know, but maybe we should get
There's
a,
a
one at a
ride
time,
coming
one at-
for those other kids.
I don't think we're here to debate
Yeah.
Right.
what's legal or what
Yeah.
isn't legal. I mean, we've heard a lot of this. Personally, I think anything that we do over and above meeting the bare minimum requirements of the law should be a policy. And it should be a policy that we would pass if that's what we want to choose to do. Let's do it. Let's make it available to everyone who wants to do it.
And I did bring that up when we had discussion in our safety committee. I did bring that up because it would set a precedence, which others had voiced. And so I agree with you. I mean, if it is something that the board would choose to do, we would, I think, have to look at it as a policy because it would potentially open up the doors for others to be able to access that and want to be able to access that funding, so.
And
Yep.
the other comment I would have as far as that goes is regarding mileage reimbursement. You're reimbursed an amount whether you're driving one child or 10. If you're driving one vehicle, you're being reimbursed for the expenses
Of one vehicle.
of that vehicle.
There is an aid amount set aside by the state for each child. Are you guys making any money off my kids? Given the fact
I don't know that.
You're not. I don't think you are.
I guess I don't, Dana, I guess I don't know what this other policy is or whatever this, I
That's
guess I
why-
haven't.
Well, I urge
that's
you to
why I
learn
rely
about
on
it,
the legal
please.
That's
We
why-
keep this thing up to
Yeah.
death. I think.
Well,
we
you
can
need
move
to
on
learn
and
about
get to
it.
our agenda.
Well, Jeff, can I make a recommendation that legal counsel looks into what she's talking about, so we can be advised?
They have, as well as our business manager, and they're saying that.
Your business manager
Okay,
didn't,
okay.
he wondered why I was there. He's like, I don't
Okay.
have anything
All
to do
right,
with this.
so I'm just gonna, we're gonna,
I have a recommendation that we get a written response from legal counsel. That can be, and then if you wish to file a complaint, however you choose to,
you would have a written formal response from the district, from our legal attorney, and then you could take some action, whether it's with the state or an attorney or an advocate or something.
Okay, I have one
Right?
more thing to say.
It's just been verbal up to this point, right?
I think
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Okay.
I have
it's a
one
great
more thing
idea.
to say
I'm
about
good with
this.
that too.
With this aid amount, the state told me that districts are able to take a small percentage of the total. So you guys aren't making any money off my kids right now. You claim them, you guys would be claiming my 4 children, and you would be making a little bit of money off them. Whereas it is right now, you're not making anything off of them.
I don't know that to be
Well,
true,
it
but
is
I
true.
can, but I can have Jeff ask,
Okay, sounds good.
have legal counsel look into it. Okay?
I think it would benefit
Yeah.
everybody to have more of a formal,
Okay.
you know,
Right.
Right,
thing
because I
happen
don't know,
here.
because I don't know how the statute's written. I don't think anybody hears, knows how it's written or how that aid is dispersed and how you access that. I'm not the expert on that. That's why we have legal counsel that will give us maybe a little bit more insight on that. Okay? All right? Thanks, Dana.
Thank you.
Moving on, 7.0, approve the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Support.
So, moved by Director Sather, supported by Director Lotiger.
Discussion?
Any discussion?
Yes. Whether it's at this point or when we get down to the new business, under 12.3, approve a consolidation plan, I would either recommend, ask, or suggest, or make it into a motion that we take each one of those pieces separately, and vote on them separately, not as a package, each one of those documents.
It is kind of a package at this point,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair. So I mean, either you're passing it or you're not.
Right. What
That
part?
was my understanding from the joint powers meeting as well.
Yeah. What part, I mean, I guess I need a little more clarification on what you're talking
I
about.
just would like to take them separately, like we do with some other things, so.
Well, I think we'll have debate, we can certainly debate items in each
Have a
of the
discussion.
individual things.
There may be, because there may be some that I would support and some that I wouldn't, and so just to say all or nothing wouldn't really give the whole, the correct image, that the whole story, the whole, there are many components
You're
to
voting
this.
on a plan, not components of a plan.
Right, I
Well, we
mean, I
have
guess,
separate documents. It's just my comment, that's my wish. I'd make that into a motion. We'll see if I have a second. It'll be voted up or down. And I move that we take those items under 12.3, each one of those documents separately for a vote.
we'll see when we get there. How's that sound?
Well,
She
I
made
made
the
a motion.
Make-
now.
Do I have a second or not, or otherwise it dies?
Get a second?
Call one more time.
You get a second on that?
Okay,
Okay, motion fails.
okay, that's fine.
Okay, so motion by Director Sather, support by Director Lau to approve the agenda. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No?
Motion carries. 8.0, approve the treasurer's report.
For the month of October, as you have in your board packets, total receipts totaling $767,839.24. Disbursements of $504,407.75. Payroll $764,736.30. Balances at the end of the month in Miners Bank, $3,583,309.91. First National Bank of Gilbert, $2,062,229.81, for a total of $5,645,539.72. Moving on to the first check writing in December, total disbursements of $172,826, as itemized in your packets.
Not, just correction on that, that would be
Yeah.
the first check writing for November.
Yeah, that's
is
correct.
what you-
Sorry.
No, I just wanted,
Thank
that way it
you.
doesn't go into.
So, motion by the treasurer. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Director Yuhan. Any discussion on the treasurer's report? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9.0, approve the consent agenda. Approve the minutes of the regular meeting for Monday, October 28, 2019, and approve the 2019-2020 extracurricular positions. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move.
Moved by Director Sather. Support by Director Gentilini. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 10.0, items removed from the consent agenda. There wasn't any. 11.0, personnel. Approve the 2019-2020 winter coaches. So can I get a motion on 11.1 to approve the 2019-2020 winter coaches?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Director Yuhan, second by Director Addy. Any discussion?
Just one question as far as, I mean, is the boys swimming coach, is that being handled then through Virginia and Herring and Sharon?
They are interviewing on Wednesday, and yes, that will be Virginia's program for the time being, so,
So they will hire the coaching staff?
yes.
Will there be any Eveleth Gilbert representation in the hiring process, or that, okay, or the interviews and things?
Yeah, Angie's taking care of it.
Okay.
I have a question on here. Which position is not paid for on the boys basketball, boys hockey?
Where it says B,
Yeah?
volunteer.
Oh, thank you. I was looking at B as varsity.
Thinking as varsity. I was
Yes,
too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a motion by Director Yuhan, support by Director Addy.
I guess-
Oh,
Sorry.
any more discussion?
Yes, I called Jeff before the meeting just to make sure that we are going to have JoJo come to an upcoming meeting.
We're gonna set a policy committee here in a little bit, and she'll be at that one.
Okay.
So when it comes to these, I'll just throw a question out there. Just, I want to make sure that when these sports are being combined between Eveleth and Gilbert, between Eveleth, Gilbert, and Virginia, that the consensus is that I hate to say it, but it seems like the Virginia people have been contacting me, it seems like the Virginia people Virginia coaches would be getting the jobs.
Why is that?
I have no idea. It was just a question that was brought up to me, especially with regard to swimming.
I heard a rumor that if you couldn't swim faster than a 104-100, which is semi-ridiculous, that you were gonna end up in the Eveleth pool, not the Virginia pool. So, I mean, it's out there.
Okay, all right.
But
I just hope that when it comes to these coaches, that the Eveleth Gilbert coaching staff gets fair share at these jobs versus,
we have just as many people at the table as they do, so.
okay.
And just to clarify, now, if there is a situation where there's the co-coaching situation, then we would hire a coach, and Virginia would also hire the coach.
That is correct.
Co-coaches, correct? But
Um,
in this case, there wasn't
It
an
didn't work
agreement
out?
between the two head coaches to do that.
Correct.
How was that written up again? If the two coaches couldn't get along,
Post it.
huh?
We
Then
posted.
then you posted, okay.
The two coaches would need to be, not necessarily not get along, the two coaches would need to be in agreement to co-coach. And if they're not in
Correct.
agreement, then
It'd be
it
posted.
would be posted
Okay, very
and
good.
one coach would be hired, yeah.
Okay.
And
And,
there's certainly lots of rumors out there that we're gonna be forcing teams in the next year or so to combine, and that also is not true. We happen to have a situation with boys swimming where we had the 6 swimmers, and all of the parents asked, could we please go to Virginia? So we did.
And the plan for merging the sports was laid out, I thought, very well by the respective
Our athletic.
activity
Yeah, absolutely.
directors, and that's the plan.
That is the plan.
Yeah.
It was passed by the joint board, so we're not gonna deviate from that plan, unless there's a request to look at it.
And we did have that presentation here as well.
Well, and I mean, the activities directors, I cannot, I really appreciate their partnering and working together, and just what they initially sent in a proposed plan of how we were going to be doing this. And it did not account for what is currently happening with the swimming, so they came back and requested the addendum to that plan. So I really do put a lot of faith and trust in our activities directors on. I think they've been really working hard to try to make this work for everyone involved, so.
The overall plan,
Okay,
other than we have some facilities issues with football in the next couple of years, but the overall plan is we're not combining until we get the new building. Rumors aside.
In some sports,
Hmm?
some sports.
Like I said, we do have a facilities problem with football. Junior high will combine sooner, but
And there are concerns that some numbers may force,
numbers may force some.
May
We don't
force
have
it,
enough
but
nicotine,
that's-
but
that's for numbers, and I mean, every year, no matter, regardless whether we're looking at consolidating any year, we could be faced with that, where numbers are short and are forcing us to look at pairing and sharing,
But
so.
the plan did also have other sports where there are adequate numbers to field varsity teams combining prior to the 22 school year. I don't have it in front of me, but I know that's the case.
right.
Which is fine, I mean, I'm fine with that plan, it makes sense. As far as I'm concerned, we can
I know we're off,
accelerate a lot of the activities.
I know we're off topic a little bit, but what happens if the football teams between the respective districts want to combine earlier than when the building opens? How is that gonna work? If the kids, I mean, see if the kids wanna combine, is it up to the coaches then?
The plan that we approved contemplating football combining in the 21-22 school year
At the varsity level?
at the varsity level.
Okay,
And that's a facilities issue, it's not a numbers issue.
okay.
And the scheduled rotation, and there were other good reasons to do that. When there, it says it isn't the plan that was approved.
Yes.
Did you say what meeting Jojo was going to be coming to?
The next policy
Monday.
one.
Well,
Okay.
no, we have to set a policy, sorry. That's later on in the meeting.
So the next meeting or no?
We have to set a policy meeting under 13.1.
Any more discussion on 11.1? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 12.0, new business. 12.1, update on maintenance projects.
Come on up, Mike. No, you can just sit down.
Sit there.
Hop along.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it was last meeting or within the last month, I was at a meeting. We talked about I gave you some of the, I guess, details of what are going on here with our heating system and some of our roofs and stuff. Well, I got the bids in that we talked about. JK Mechanical was less, which, so they ordered parts for us, the parts we talked about. They should be here, I think 2 of the parts are here. And they're waiting on that big valve for the swimming pool, and that's supposed to be here this week, from what I just checked with them this morning. And then that process will be done and will be getting done. The buildings in Gilbert, the plan was to be here already, but weather held them back. Now they're coming Wednesday.
Which
I
night,
guess-
week after tomorrow?
Yes. I guess we're supposed to get snow Wednesday night, so they're hoping there's gonna be a window of time where they can come in and patch some of our problems there. But the one issue I did want to address with you guys, and this is a little different than what we talked about already, in our new gym, this is a new thing, so I don't know if I can talk about that this now or not.
You can. You
But,
can
Update on
compare us.
maintenance.
At that last meeting, you gave a specific dollar amount out, and I'm well under that. So I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on, so you guys can say yay or nay. Our new gym, there's, in our heating system up there, on the second floor, there's a fan room there, and it has air handlers in it. And there's 2 big coils in there. We replaced a coil about 3 years ago, and the other coil, which is bigger, but heats our gym and that area, has been fixed quite a few times. They were just here this morning, and they brazed the leaks. We're hoping it holds for a little bit, but I think the smart thing to do is order a new coil. But that's another $5,000 roughly. I'm getting bids in on that within probably, hopefully tomorrow.
So you're saying that the hot deck on the air handler in the boys' gym, it's steam, correct? It's not,
Yes.
it's steam, it's a
Steam.
steam coil, is just, it's out, we've outused its usefulness.
Yeah.
It's,
It's blowing holes right
It's
now
okay.
under low, and we don't have a
Okay.
whole lot of steam going in there right now.
Okay.
Once it gets cold, it's probably not.
okay,
It's so thin right now, it's just,
so the cost of replacing this labor and materials, did you get a bid on it yet?
About
Okay.
5,000.
it's about 5,000. See, from what I'm told, there's like a couple different stages of the coil. You can get like one that'll last 30 years, one that'll last at least 5, one that'll last 15. They put a lifespan on. And then of course the different dollar amounts.
Mm-hmm.
So I told them to shoot us the quote, so we have something to look at
Okay.
on all the different ones. And then also, like I said, when they were today, they double checked all the measurements, and when they did the brazing on the actual copper lines there, so it wouldn't, at least it's not leaking now. But my concern is, we're gonna have a basketball game, it's gonna be 40 below out, we're gonna be freezing. It's gonna be
So-
an issue.
So we had this discussion that when it comes to this stuff,
Mhm.
Mike, and you are the maintenance director,
Mhm.
okay? That you, if you, and I get it, I've been in that gym when it's been ice cold, and it's not
Mhm.
comfortable sitting up in them bleachers when it's
No.
cold. And I've been in there when it's like been really, really hot,
Mhm.
okay? And that's not comfortable either. If this coil needs to be replaced, and I don't know what the dollar amount was, maybe the board wants to help me out here, what the dollar amount that you can approve, that you can just go ahead, Mike, and if you, I mean, if it's needed, which it sounds like it is, you know, just go ahead and order it.
Well, like I said,
I mean,
I did want.
I don't think it needs board approval if it's under, what was the dollar amount, if it's anything?
25,000
Yeah.
for all that work.
I don't think you have to put it under the umbrella of all that other stuff. That's a separate project, isn't it?
That's a separate project.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a separate project, Mike. I mean, we're talking about the stuff that we already looked at, but now we're talking about a coil that needs to be replaced. It needs to be replaced in a timely manner. We've just had discussion about how mechanical contractors, anybody in the trades is pretty strapped for time,
Mhm.
and prolonging it
Right.
might create some sort of situation where that doesn't get fixed for a couple months.
Okay.
I mean, does the board, how does the board feel about that?
I guess I don't feel that this is necessarily an emergent one, that I do look at it as, it is a separate item, so I wouldn't necessarily look at grouping it in the umbrella of money. And if we're meeting next Monday and you're getting the bids tomorrow, I mean, because you said they were just there to repair it.
They did some repairs today, yes.
Yeah, I mean, so is the heat not happening in the gym right now?
At the moment, it's holding,
Yeah,
but we don't have them on, turned up as high as we're gonna have to go.
yeah.
So that'll put more pressure, and I can't guarantee that.
So-
So I guess that's where I'm trying to assess, is if it's an emergency.
I mean, I look at it, I guess, excuse me, Director Stady, but I look at it this way, that, the sooner you can get an answer to the contractor, or, because it's gonna be, it's a custom-made coil? Is that to be custom-made? Or?
Yeah, it's ordered, yeah,
Okay.
it's, they deal with their people, and I suppose they get a couple bids out there themselves,
Okay.
and then they get the ones
Okay.
and bring it to us.
How much what are the risks, how much condensate goes on the floor when it leaks, and where does the condensate go? Is there a trap, or is there a
Where's it
floor
leak?
drain? I mean, does it leak it leaks into obviously the ductwork, and then the ductwork, where does the condensate go? Does it go down the ductwork and then leak over a ceiling tile, or what do we?
Well, right underneath it is a storage room, where like
Mhm.
all we have like the floor hockey nets and all that kind of
Okay.
stuff where the gym is in. It's right next to JoJo's office. Currently, right now, it leaks in, we got I hate to say it like this, but we got like a swimming pool there, where it catches the water so it's not over the floor.
Is
And
it,
then we drain it. But it's not leaking right now, but in the last couple of weeks, it was doing that. It's just like a thing, just so we don't have water everywhere. And it was getting to the point where we were draining that a couple times a day.
Okay, I mean, I just don't want, something catastrophic where now we're replacing tons of ceiling tile and all the insulation, if there is any in the ductwork, is contaminated with the steam, wetness, and now we're talking indoor air quality issues now because of,
Yeah, I mean, nothing's
wet,
going out
soggy
onto the gym
insulation.
floor or out into the hallway or anything like that. It's within our closets.
Okay, all right.
But it's, when it leaks, it leaks.
Okay,
Well, I think to get the price, and if it, I don't know, bring it back on Monday, I guess.
yeah,
I'll bring you some prices and I'll come back Monday and present it to you, and then you can make a thing. But the other stuff that we originally talked about, everything's in the works, and I'm hoping within two weeks, everything's done,
okay, very good.
so.
Okay,
Here we go.
Thank you.
thanks, Mike. .2, approve the first reading of the policies.
Mr. Chair, we had a policy meeting a couple weeks ago and went through a bunch of different policies, and the list that's in front of you now are ones that didn't seem to have any, they're all MSBA, nothing's been altered. And, the people that were at the meeting didn't seem to have issue with them, so we'll put them on for the first reading. There's a bunch of others that we did talk about that night that we have to set another meeting for, but
I would move, if it's appropriate, first reading of policies that are marked enclosures 12.2A through 12.2E in our board packet.
Support.
So we got a motion by Director Schoberg, support by Director Sather. Any discussion?
I have something to note on policy 524, 12.2D. You turn to that one, page 524, page 5. It would be under Roman numeral 6, filters. I don't know if we just missed this or what, but it's talking about, we're supposed to pick one of these alternatives in our policy, whether we are for a school district who seeks federal or state funding, alternative 1, or alternative 2 or 3, if we seek or we don't seek this funding. So some of this language isn't appropriate because I think we have to pick one of these alternatives and include it in our policy. And the others are inappropriate. I mean, not inappropriate, but they're
Which one are you on?
redundant. I'm on 524, Internet Acceptable Use and Safety Policy,
I don't know what part of it.
pages 5 and 6.
6 on filter.
Yeah, Roman numeral 6, page 5, and then page 6.
Yeah, it should read 6, you just have one of the alternative filters.
Yeah, and so it says, if you do this, then the following language should be adopted. If this, then the following language, alternative 2 or 3, so without taking time to see which one we fall under. Probably, we don't fall under 1 because I'm sure we do seek state and federal funding.
Pretty sure it's number 3.
Number 3? Okay.
So we approve the policy
And delete,
1 and 2?
yeah, that's all, it's just technical, okay?
So where it says 6 filter, you get right into alternative.
Number 3, as long as administration said that's the appropriate one, okay?
That's good.
All right, that's all.
Okay, any more discussion on the first reading of policies? Noted that alternative 3 is where the policy will be, where the filter will start, correct, Jeff?
Yeah, when you see it for reading 2, we'll have that.
Change.
Okay, all right. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 12.3, approve consolidation plan.
Well, first question, we've got both resolutions in our packet. I'm assuming Virginia voted
They meet
for our,
tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
no, they
No, they-
met last Tuesday.
They met last week.
Oh, okay.
So, did they adopt our board plan, or,
Yes.
all right?
Which
Okay.
includes which is Exhibit
It's
B.
Matt's artwork, yeah.
Yes,
Exhibit B,
All right,
forever known.
yeah.
just to make that clear.
And that was consistent with what was articulated in the letter from
Yes,
Dr. Schmidt yourself to the DOE.
yes.
Okay. And I wanted to take these separately because, we have some options in here. And I happen to not agree that the operating levies would be spread out in the new school district, that it has I think it has big ramifications for the Eveleth Gilbert School District taxpayers, and I don't think they've had a voice. I don't think they even know about it. The document that the boards received at just the cooperative both board meetings about the Ehlers report, kind of giving you all the particulars and the hows and the whys and why Eveleth taxes will go up and the Virginia taxpayers' taxes will go down, is all contained in here. And it's very complicated. And I don't think any of us on this board understands it. I admit I don't understand it all and how it's worked out. We do understand the bottom lines, though, about because of property valuations and tax capacities, our residents will be picking up more of the tab. And first of all, I think we should have had a public meeting about it. And if not now, we should have a public meeting after this, and we should have Ehlers back so the people in the public can ask questions, can make their comments. I mean, we brag about all the meetings we've had about the consolidation and the referendum and everything, and about school colors and the mascot. This is very important, and I think we need a public meeting on this. I think it should have happened before this vote. We're just pushing, rushing this all through, and this is probably one of the most important things about the whole project. And I know I've been accused of trying to stall things because people say I don't support things, and Polly, you're just trying to stall. You're trying to stall everything. No, I think it's what I just said is only right and proper, and that's one reason I wanted to take things separately, and not just that one either.
One of the things that gets me is that the homeowners' taxes are going to go up by valuation, because they're saying that Eveleth Gilbert's valuation is higher than Virginia. But then you look at the industrial commercial, look at Virginia, that should be way higher than Eveleth Gilbert. So my reason would be then that should be higher for Virginia and less for Gilbert. Just the opposite of what they're saying, right? Look at what valuation do we have in Eveleth Gilbert's property in commercial compared to Virginia. Virginia's got a lot more, comparing apples to apples. And I don't agree with this either, that we should be paying more for this.
I
agree that we should have some meetings to get the public informed on this. 'Cause
I
this is
certainly
very important.
understand the concerns of both Director Sorkin and Director General Eady. And I don't profess to be an expert in this at all. But I do understand, and in reading this, the memo, and I don't understand everything in the memo, believe me. But in reading this, I do understand that, number one, how operating referendums are handled, in the case of a consolidation, is very prescriptive statutorily. Basically, you either take them or you don't. And I do believe it's in our best interest to take it. I also think that the big reason that, and it's true, I mean, that was the first thing I looked at when we were given this on that Monday, and I kind of swallowed hard. When you see on a $100,000 home, because of the net effect of the operating referendum, taxes on a $100,000 home in our district will go up by $71, where taxes on that same $100,000 home in the Virginia district will go down by $50. But I I didn't now understand that basically with the, assuming we leave the operating referendum in place, which I think would be foolish if we didn't. Number one, there's, of the $500,000 that generates annually, or 539,000, 208,000 of that comes from the state. That's free money. The 331,000 is split basically between the two districts, between the property tax base on the two districts. And the reason ours is going up is our current excess operating referendum generates $61 per pupil unit.
There you go.
The excess operating referendum in Virginia generates $255 per pupil unit. Taking that excess referendum on in a consolidated district would generate $190 per pupil unit. So basically, our students will get that benefit of the incremental increase from $61 to $190, where the Virginia students, if you will, the revenue that's generated for them drops from $255 to $190. And that's, to me, is not knowing how all that plays through and how all that works. That's it in a nutshell. And assuming we move forward with this and move forward with the consolidation plan, at any time, you can say next year, oh, we don't need the money. We're going to cancel this referendum. Then everyone's taxes go down. But even given all of the operational efficiencies that we will eventually get by moving into the new buildings, I mean, those aren't going to happen for a while. And I just think that's revenue that would be sorely missed by a consolidated district if we didn't go forward.
But we do have an option. We have an option to spread it out, to assume each other's debt, or we could keep our own. We could keep it for 1 year, and then once we're consolidated, my big thing is going to the taxpayers and letting them decide. And if they say yes, then we do it, you know, and that's my big thing here. And just understanding what the pupil units, the ratio of pupils over to net tax capacity, because if you look on some of these details, Virginia has more adjusted pupil units than they have resident units. We have way less because we lose so much to open enrollment. Might these numbers and these ratios and the end tax effect be different? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe that's just how it is and that's how it's going to be. But I think that we need to not assume each other's debt. It's not fair. Let the taxpayers, once we're consolidated, then let them vote. Because Virginia taxpayers just passed their excess levy referendum for 7 years. Ours expires in 2 years. Now, automatically, that means that ours is going to extend an extra 5 years without our taxpayers even having a say in it. Okay? And so they had no say. It's like hands being put in our taxpayers' pockets without them saying you can have it or not, and putting it in somebody else's or into the big scheme of things without my permission as a taxpayer.
It's not going to anyone's
Well,
pockets.
it's
going
coming
to
out of
benefit our
somebody's,
kids.
well, it's coming out of somebody's pockets.
Just to clarify, we're not assuming their debt. The
You're
boards
combining-
The boards that night decided that the debt would remain the same. in
2 out of
existing
3.
distance.
2 out of 3, the OPEB and the bonds.
The
Right.
Operating referendum is not debt.
Okay, no, the OPEB debt and then the bond debt, right.
That is staying where it's at.
Okay, I understand that, but I disagree with the operating levy one being combined into the whole district. So
I
that's the one I
agree that
disagree.
That's not debt.
Well, did I say the wrong word? I might have said debt, but it's just that third one I don't agree with,
So-
because we can do it differently.
The option, because I'm not a financial expert, I am trusting those that are, and it's either, it's combined with consolidation, it is combined or we no longer receive that.
Correct.
That's it. So those are the two options at the table. And Director Schulberg just said now, and I agree that it's premature to expect that we're not gonna need that money. People have been really concerned on job loss and things like that as we're consolidating into our districts and into our high schools. And to say that we're gonna no longer take the $500,000 that we received from this and not impact the education that our kids are receiving, I'm not comfortable saying that. So I am in agreement with going ahead and keeping that money intact, which then is where it's combined and dispersed amongst our newly formed consolidated district. There's no other option for that unless we say we don't need that money, and I'm not comfortable with a brand-new consolidated school to say we don't need that money, because we don't know where our operating is going to be coming in at right away.
It's been framed as that's money that we will lose, and you can always say something differently. It's not, in my understanding, it's not money that we will lose. It's money that we will no longer be eligible for because we will have a different fraction, a different ratio. We will have a larger number of students over a combined tax base. When you bring one up, one down, you bring the bottom up, okay? And that's the effect of combining our tax capacities, okay? So if we don't qualify for it anymore when we're a larger district, that's not taking money away. It's like saying, if, for example, if I were, or somebody is on food stamps, okay, I'm eligible for food stamps, but I'm not, I'm not just saying that, or fuel assistance or whatever. And then to say, okay, maybe I get a better job or I marry and we have two incomes and whatever. No, I'm not eligible for it anymore. So would I be losing money under those circumstances? No, because of rules and statutes and logarithms and formulas, we're no longer eligible for it when we become bigger. So we're not losing it. You can think of it that way. And who's to say that if it's $500,000 or $700,000, this chunk of money, with the addition of our taxpayers spread out among, I don't know, how 3,000, what would be the population? You're going to make up that $500,000 pretty fast. This is going to go over 20 years. And so what's the net result going to be? You're going to gain in that end.
And I'm hoping that's right. I really hope that it's right, but I'm not comfortable to say we don't need it right now and let's let it go, because I don't know. We don't know. And I would rather err on the side of keeping what's existing for our students and what we know we can cover within the budget that the districts are operating at. And if a year after we're seeing that we are coming in great, things are different because of the consolidated one district, great, we don't have to continue to pull from that. But I'm not comfortable right now.
Do you think it's ever going to work that way? In this whole plan, we've always started throwing more money in the pot, and it's more expensive and overrides, and that will never happen. I just don't think. What's wrong with waiting a year until we are consolidated and then making that decision? Maybe by that time, at least one building should be built, I think. Well, no, we'd consolidate before the new Franklin. I don't see why we can't wait.
We can always under levy if we want to. I mean, we don't have to ask taxpayers for any money. The fact of the matter is, you need it to operate.
Well, actually,
And I would rather have to look and see that we're operating with the surplus and then say, okay, we don't need this anymore. That would be great.
No.
That would be wonderful. Then it'd be caught in the other way where you say, okay, we're gonna let this $500,000 go, of which $200,000 is free state money.
it's not free.
And, well, it's money we get from the state.
It's taxpayer money. I
Yes.
I respectfully disagree.
They could spend
okay?
it in Rochester too.
Well,
They would give it to them in Rochester.
But it's generated by our taxpayers, so I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I had
Of
a
that
thought.
$200,000, maybe the people of the two respective districts, it's costing them maybe $20 in the state general fund.
Doesn't matter. Could I just, before I lose my thought, keep yours, because my memory's not so great. Speaking of that, we approved the maximum levy and now that I'm getting more information and getting more numbers, our district levy that we approved is about 74% more than last year. It went up from 880-some thousand to over $1 million, $1.5 million. Now,
We passed the bond, and that was voter approved.
okay, fine, but that's just, that increase is only attributed to the passing of the bond?
Yes, it actually.
100%.
Yes, it would have went down if we hadn't passed the bond.
And then, so Virginia's only went up 40%. The levy, the maximum levy from last year to this year, I talked to the county auditor for over an hour last week. And I'll tell you what, my head was spinning with numbers, but I got some basic things under my understanding. And there's so much more to this. I think we're rushing into it, and I don't think we're being fair to our taxpayers. I'm
So
sorry.
much more to what?
I agree, I think this should take some time, and that's a big decisions being made here, and this should be looked into very carefully to make sure that we're moving in the right direction on this. I agree with that. And here's one thing I'm looking at here too, on page 11, for this whole thing in the back, cost to relocate football stadium. New parking lot, $250,000. Offsite infrastructure, $500,000. Wetlands, $100,000. Cost for settlement of lease, $250,000. Is this money that we have to come up with, that we're budgeted for?
No, that's a
Yeah.
separate, it's not
That's
anything
not the
to do with that.
consolidation plan.
Yeah, I don't know what
Yeah,
that is.
that's part of the design stuff that they're looking at, so that's not anything to do, any part of that is on this consolidation plan right now that we're reviewing.
But if it
That's
doesn't, if
completely
we do,
separate.
if this does get consolidated, then this money's gotta come out. We gotta come up with this money then, correct?
No.
No, that was,
No.
It's
That's dealing with different issues.
the design, and yeah, I mean, that's not anything with this right now at all.
But might that not be considered a part of what Matt's saying is, well, we might, in the future, maybe what you're saying, Tom, is maybe we'll never go backwards because some of these things will come up and we'll need that money for. And we're already identifying possible things that we might need more money for, if that's what you're saying.
Operating,
That's kind of the
Right.
point.
I understand.
Right.
That's not an operating issue.
I was gonna say
We
operating
can't
is
take 20
specific.
million out of the 180 million bonding money and say we're gonna spend it on operating stuff.
Well, I thought if I understood you to say that, but
alrighty. 12.3, approve the consolidation plan as presented in your board packet.
again, no matter which way the vote goes, and I know how it's going to go, I strongly suggest we have a public meeting on this, just so the citizens and the taxpayers can ask questions and can have their comments and give their input. Because, yes, this is a plan going into the commissioner, but this does not, there's still a long ways yet until it actually happens. I think that's an important meeting, considering all the other meetings we've had.
So with that, we can still have, even if, regardless of this, of the vote on this, we can still request a public meeting.
Yes,
For
exactly.
Ellers to come and speak with the community to explain more pieces that that were explained to us, I think, very thoughtfully in our collaborative meeting.
I would
So-
like that, I would think that would be very much welcome. And again, this document only appeared once electronically. Wasn't in our board packet for the November 11th. It was not in a hyperlink or a document today, and it was not in Virginia's board meeting. It was only in the October 28th cooperative board. And if you didn't go to that meeting, and you didn't go online and look at board book, everybody should have access to this. And I think we should put that out there on our website too.
I agree with
Second
that.
suggestion. Okay, thank you.
Can I get a motion can I get a motion to approve, on 12.3, to approve the consolidation plan?
So moved.
Moved by Director Schoberg,
Support.
support by Director Sather. Any more discussion?
I also have concerns about very heavily weighted administrative plan, one of the other pieces of the document going to the commissioner. I think we're very heavy in administration. And we keep adding positions instead of subtracting them.
I would agree with your comment about that. That's the one thing that's been popping in my head is about previous surveys and things that said we're top heavy. And then looking at having a dean of students and a principal in the elementary schools, and we don't currently have that. But I'm guessing that we can change those things as well.
You can change those things, but I'll go
Moving
back to my
forward.
original statement of, if, I mean, I think we're all in agreement that we want to move our district to somewhere else, and you're not going to do that the way we're structured right now.
Well,
5 years down the road, once it's in place, yeah, absolutely.
well,
But
you
in the
know,
interim, we're not going to move everybody in that direction, and, I mean, it's physically impossible. I mean, you might as well just tell everybody we're going to do exactly what we're doing now in a new building, if we don't.
well, I happen to not agree with that, again, and that,
You
wait.
don't agree
Yeah,
with
okay,
that.
fine. I'm just expressing my opinion and some of my concerns. I think even one more administrative job was added to this list. That I think Virginia is, at least had a job description, was the database specialist, one-on-one coordinator on this administrative list in the packet? I don't believe it is, so here's another one that's been added. And, you know, so.
You can't even begin to comprehend moving from point A to point B in this. It's not gonna happen by itself.
No.
We're gonna have to hire some people to help getting us there, otherwise nothing will
Right.
change.
I get it. It's like opening up a brand new store.
Well,
Sometimes you gotta hire a ton
Will
of
it
people
look
to
that
get
way
it up and
5
running.
years from now? I doubt it, but
This is the current plan that is subject to change.
yeah.
Yes.
I expressed
That's why I'm okay
concern
with the way it is.
previously at a different meeting too about the administrative one. I asked the question at the cooperative meeting. What in relation to these administrative positions, what kind of negative or detrimental effect might support staff be? Well, we're not talking about that yet, but we should because, you know, it was said administratively, well, not everybody's going to be happy with this. And yeah, we've got other employees to think about too. And again, I just think we're administratively heavy. We're going to have a combined about 3,000 students combined. When this is said and done, 27, 75, and 28 adjusted pupil units, it's not too big of a district to have all this administration. I know what you're saying, we're going from one type to another type, but still.
Go look at any district in the state that decide, let's say 3,000 kids, we're still under.
We're still under what, administration?
Absolutely.
Well,
Looking at the district-wide, you have a superintendent and an executive assistant.
Mhm.
What is the function of this
You're the
executive
one sitting
assistant?
that's secretarial. That's secretarial? That's
Secretary?
Deb, that's like a
She's not
Deb.
That's what Kathy Reardon did for years until she retired.
And Justine and Deb.
And he's sitting in it right now.
You're thinking like maybe a assistant superintendent is what you thought that might
That's
be?
what I was looking at it.
All right.
Any more discussion on 12.3? That being said, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No,
Motion carries at a 6-5, or 6-2 vote, 5 being, or 5-2 vote, 5 being in favor. 12.4, approved donation from Nicholas Matchevs? I
I
don't know.
think that's how you pronounce it.
Yes, matches.
Matches.
Okay,
Yes.
Mr. Matches is donating $4,000 to the Eveleth Gilbert Band Program.
I'll make a motion.
so motion by Director Yuhan,
support.
second by Tom. Director Gentilini. Any discussion?
Please send a letter of thanks
Yeah.
for that donation.
And I would also suggest, I mean, just throwing it out there, that something be specified maybe, or that Director Schumal be given some latitude in, I guess what I'm saying is, I don't want them to get $4,000 band and then we just cut their budget by $4,000
Right.
Next year. That one,
We don't do that.
B, that's not what Dr. Matcheffs envisions, and that somehow that we, before we do that and send them the letter saying, thank you, we're gonna use to buy new shoes for our band members, or whatever the case may be.
And will he have discretion on, you know, whatever items are needed in band?
It would have to come
Will he
back to the
have
board,
some
I
sort of
think.
discretion?
Can you,
So
No, it doesn't come back to the board, because when you accept the donation, it goes into the band fund, and if he sends a purchase request my way that happens to be $4,000 or under, I approve it. I don't know what he needs and what he doesn't.
So,
However, or even if they wanna say, we wanna, and this gets kinda touchy, I know, but to underwrite the cost to Florida for some of the members that he thinks that becomes a burden for them more than.
He could.
I'm just throwing stuff out there. I mean, whatever I'd be good with, but I think it would be nice too, when we acknowledge the donation, to
say
say
what it
this
was
is what
for.
it's intended for.
one question that I do have on this, I thought that for the donations, it was understood that we were gonna be doing resolutions on accepting donation requests.
Oh, you want an actual resolution?
you just said it couldn't be under consent agenda.
Yeah, that's what I.
That's what we understood. It had to be
Yeah,
a separate item.
It doesn't matter to me what
So,
it is.
so we can go ahead and vote on it tonight. I'll double check. They did send me the reference number when I had emailed them, so, okay.
So we're going to go ahead and approve or whatever?
As we have been
Yeah.
normally.
Okay.
So 12.4, we got a motion by Director Huron, support by Director Giannini. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 12.5, approve the resolution reestablishing precincts and polling places for school district elections.
This is for any elections that the school district may have next year, and it reestablishes our old districts. I don't remember the exact number of them, but the last election we had was combined into two, and this puts it back to whatever we have. 10,
11.
11.
So,
Which is
I'll happily
much
move
better.
that, I'll happily move that, that motion.
And I will
So-
support.
okay, so we can move.
Sort in.
Yeah, you can read it if you'd like.
Completely up to you.
Go ahead.
Okay. So for resolution number 698, resolution reestablishing precincts for school district elections. Whereas the city of Eveleth, state of Minnesota has passed a, oh, there's a typo. Would it be the city of Eveleth or Eveleth Gilbert School?
Or the school district.
Yeah,
Should be a school.
yeah, so there's, for the state of Minnesota has passed a resolution
That whole paragraph,
combining
the whole paragraph is wrong.
precinct 1 and precinct 2 into one precinct.
That-
Yeah,
That whole thing has to be changed.
yep.
So you should.
Good thing you started to read it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there's never been.
None of us read it.
The whole first paragraph.
Holly, shame on you for
Yeah.
making a movie without reading it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
I supported.
Where'd that come from?
You just took the last one. You just took the previous one. I will,
The other-
I'll still move it with the correction.
Yeah, right.
And I will
do-
support it with the corrections as well.
Okay.
However it
Oh,
should
I
read.
get it.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, the last part is just fine where it actually does speak to where the election polling places
Yeah.
would be.
We pass a resolution just like reestablishing the precincts below, blah, 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 however it has to be worded.
Who drafted this?
Yeah.
I think it's an easy
It's-
mistake. They just took the one from the last election.
I gave Deb the one from the last election, and I didn't specify that she
Okay.
needed to
Make that
change
Yeah,
that.
I'm
to
not,
paragraph.
I guess the only reason I asked is I'm not sure it's not accurate how it's read.
The first
No.
part.
The first
No.
whereas needs to be changed.
Yeah. Yep, just that.
Just
first
an
paragraph.
oversight. That's all.
Everything else looks fine on it. It's just that first paragraph.
And that was my fault. I mean, I told her to add all the 11 precincts, and I didn't mention that the first paragraph needs to be changed too.
So yes, all precincts are on there with the correct polling places, so.
I think our townspeople will be happy too.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. You read half of it.
Yep.
Okay, but you don't, if you don't want to, and if you don't want to read the whole thing, you don't have to.
Okay.
So we got a motion by Director
Sorkin.
Sorkin, and we got a second by Director Lotiger to approve 12.5, but then the correction was motioned by Director Sorkin and supported by Director Lotiger on 12.5 to approve the resolution for polling places for school district elections with the corrections
There's one more correction, second paragraph.
Same deal.
Utilizing
Okay,
polling
so we'll all-
locations within,
all corrections.
yeah. Yeah, just maybe how the old one used to read.
Okay. Any more discussion on that? All in favor? Oh, excuse me, this resolution. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Director Johan,
Yes.
Director Schobert,
Yes.
Director Lotiger,
Yes.
Director Sather is a yes, Director Addy,
Yes.
Director Sorkin,
Yes.
and Director Gentilini.
Yes.
The resolution passes with 7 yeses.
Okay. Very good. 13.0, old business, set policy. 13.1, set date for policy committee.
What do you guys think? We have a meeting on the 25th, Monday, so we could do an hour before that one if you wanted to.
I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
Too.
Yeah, that works.
On the 26th, I'm gonna drop another surprise on you here. We're having a combined board meeting at the NECS to talk about a few things, informational.
On the 26th,
26th at Tuesday.
Tuesday,
6 o'clock at Service Cooperative?
yeah. And 27th is the day before Thanksgiving, so that probably isn't that great. So now we're into December.
We having one meeting in December or two?
One, it's on the 19th, I think we said.
Just the first one?
On the 2nd is a joint board meeting.
On the 2nd of
I'm in December now,
December 2nd.
so that's kind of out. How about the 3rd?
For joint powers?
No, I'm on policy now.
Oh,
December 3rd so on the 25th of November at 5 o'clock, we're going to have
An hour.
set up an hour for the policy, then we're
Policy.
going to have a regular meeting after that at 6.
Yeah.
And then on the 26th of November at 6 o'clock, we're going to have a collaborative
board meeting.
Okay? And then now we're talking about December
Now I'm on to December
3rd.
3rd.
Okay, December 3rd.
Anyone have problems with December 3rd for policy?
For policy.
Okay.
I will likely
5, 6,
have to leave early, but, and probably.
Rather just 5
5
or
or 6, we do 5.
5's always good.
5 work for people.
5 o'clock.
Better than 6.
December 3rd, 5 o'clock, right here.
So the policy, the staff development, okay, no. All right.
Policy,
December
On the
3rd.
December 25th and December 3rd.
November
No, November
25th
25th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and 5,
That's 5.
and then December 3rd at 5.
December 3rd at 5 being,
The policy
Policy.
committee also. So we'll do a 1-hour one next week before our regular meeting.
and then on the 3rd. Okay.
For next week, I'll bring in our activities director to talk about the athletic policy changes that we talked about.
Thank you.
Okay.
Special combined meeting.
26.
Is that at 6?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was just on 13.1?
You nailed it.
Okay. 13.2, staff development committee.
I didn't close, we have a list of volunteers from the various areas of the staff, for staff development committee, which will also serve on the advisory committee. I think tomorrow, is it, Angie, we're gonna put an ad in the paper calling for community members on the academic advisory committee, which is 13.3. So,
Wait, I have a question. You're going to put an ad for just academic advisory committee and or staff development committee?
yep,
You said these were volunteers, and they're all teachers?
yep.
That does not comply with our adopted bylaws for curriculum advisory committee.
Yeah, we're kind of undergoing some pretty massive change, and we wanted a lot of people involved in that, so
That's not statutory.
we can't have a bunch of teachers on a committee deciding with staff development.
The academic advisory committee and staff development committee have very precise membership
Well,
requirements.
Either way, I have a list of
Volunteers.
volunteers that would like to help the district move forward. So you can see who those people are. We're putting that in the paper for community people for academic advisory committee.
And when will that ad go in the paper, Jeff?
Yep,
When?
Deb will put it in tomorrow,
How long will it run?
however long you want.
When is that one of our district newsletters coming out? Do we have one coming out, and have we had one since our last discussion?
We have not.
Okay. Advertising for community members and not just parents also. We talked about daily bulletin, that can run forever. We talked about Channel 12, we can put an ad on there. Send things home in the backpacks, we talked about that. Any which way that we can, and word of mouth, any which way. This is an important committee, and statute said, if possible, 2/3 of this committee needs to be community people. And I'm not just suggesting, I'm going to insist that we follow the bylaws and the membership of our adopted, unless we throw it out, it's active and it's official right now, of our academic advisory committee.
So can we, so for some areas to target, to try to make sure that we do get good involvement, because, so it's not necessarily saying we can't have that many teachers, we just need 2/3 community. I mean,
When you can get it, and our bylaws also say that the teachers and the representatives are from all bargaining units, and the bargaining units themselves they're self-selected by the units and the unions to select those representatives. And
I can
so-
tell you that is so unrealistic for
Well-
what we got going on right now.
Well,
And there isn't another school district in the state that does it that way.
Well, if it's in our bylaws, we have to stick by our bylaws,
or
otherwise
throw
why
it
have
out.
them?
okay,
Roll them
so,
out.
so rather than arguing the point right now of the student, or the faculty that we have volunteering to do this, can we focus on how we're going to be able to target getting community members to the table to participate in this as well? So one ways can we, the advertisements, as you had said already, but then also if we could send putting together a flyer to send home with the students, and then something on the on our website
And website.
to be able to, for people to, and then I know, and then Facebook, you guys do a really good job of sharing the information on Facebook, on connecting it to the website, so.
And in, well, both papers
Great ideas.
and Channel 12 as well, we put something out there for that too.
And we can use Swift Reach too,
Okay.
for Power School to send
Oh,
an
yeah.
email to parents.
That would be a
Yep.
good way.
Okay,
And is this staff development and academic advisory committee going to come up with what? Our vision, our direction, or whatever? Or what's the path? What's the content? What are they going to work for, strive for? How does this work in with a Wednesday early outs? I mean,
We're trying to train our staff so that there isn't a big surprise when we open up the doors in 3 years.
no.
I mean, that's our goal.
I know, there's a process. We're just not following the process. And part of it's legal and part of it's procedural.
Do employees who are residents of the communities, can they be community members on there?
Wearing two hats, that's not, in the past, it has not been welcome to wear two hats like that, and I don't think it should.
I mean, but the reality too is we can't force community members to be on it. I mean, that's just part of it. So I think we do what we can and really explore the engagement piece, but we can't force people to sit on it either. So when we come to that, we'll come to that and have the discussion of where we're at with interested people.
As long as we're advertising it in as many places as we can.
And having conversations with people. Yep.
Alrighty. Moving on. 14.0, administrative report and information.
That was not bad,
I was gonna say before Matt and John, but then I kind of bit my tongue, but I'll just say it now in the lull. When you're talking about, things going forward with the sports and everything, you guys are already wearing blue, but then I'm looking at myself, I am too.
Crossed my mind too, Paul.
Okay.
No, they called each other, "Are you wearing your blue shirts tonight?"
Oh, really?
All right, I'll wear mine too.
Oh, yeah.
You went dead.
I'll wear my Gilbert Buccaneer next week.
Yeah,
We're
beautiful.
our new school color is pink.
All right, so I mentioned a little while ago that November 26th, we're gonna meet. Some of the topics we're gonna talk about are, we have an update from the architects. They finished the structural design of the elementary, so they're gonna go through that. We're there with the high school, we'll talk about land update. We anticipate that we should have purchase agreements in our hand by the time Tuesday rolls around. We have a consultant coming in to talk about the Plonic Center. We're going to talk about technology and what we're doing to start to combine some of that, because it's going to be about a 3 or 4 year process to get that all updated, and as well as what we're doing for staff.
Jeff, can you give us a little more information on the land update? You said you know now. Is this with Virginia, or City of
Both.
Virginia, or Eveleth?
Yeah.
So we will,
Well, what?
so on the, yeah, I'm just gonna follow up on what you just said.
Okay.
On the land update, are we gonna have a purchase agreement in hand?
I
Or
don't
we-
know that for sure, because I'm not the one writing it, but
Okay,
it's, I would hope so.
I
on
mean, so
both
we can
sides.
instill some confidence in the voting public that, yes, we do have land.
Mhm. I know I'll jump in, I mean, it says on 15 too, but the verbal on site B, if you will, is 50,000.
Okay?
Is that,
All right.
did you say that was market value, commercial market value? 50,000?
Fair market value, not market.
Fair market value?
And
And how many acres?
Sounds a little
It's
bit.
40?
about 90, but a lot of it's
Oh,
not
site B.
buildable, so
Site B, okay, I'm thinking of site A.
site A is about 40 acres, maybe 40,000.
Okay.
$1,000 an acre.
But
The
you said
commercial?
you said fair
That's-
market.
No, I'm just,
You said fair market was actually 500 to 1,000 an acre.
I'm just thinking aloud here.
Well-
Initial, I mean, and I know that Eveleth is doing, but I'm just saying for the larger, for site B.
So the question I just had was that, you can elaborate on that,
So
elaborate on those
that's what
dollar
I have
amounts.
at this point. I mean, we're waiting for the lawyer to draft both the
Yeah.
Virginia side and the verbal agreement on one side is 40,000 and 50,000 on the other side. We just need to get that agreement so we can get that in your hands. I just don't have it.
Okay. All right. Carry on.
You want to add anything about the survey, Ange?
Well, just that the survey's there for people to take until the 30th of November. It'll be in the papers starting tomorrow and run every day, I think, to the 29th. So people can go and take the survey.
Is there anything that precludes, I mean, can you go in and vote early and often, or is there one vote, or do you have to be a resident, or can people, alums vote on it, or is there any controls, I guess is my question.
Well, one of the initial problems I think they had was they sent it out to staff to fix those bugs, and there were a few staff members that put it on Facebook, and pretty soon it was all over the place. And it wasn't supposed to be, but
Are you talking the Survey Monkey?
yeah. They have since then put some controls on that.
I know I voted via one of those, and it will only let you in there one time.
No,
But-
I mean,
Yeah,
that is correct. At one point, when it wasn't supposed to be public, you had the ability to.
That one time Form 1, I can go to this, and then I can go to that. I won't
No.
do that because that violated our policy, but, then I can go to my, no, I couldn't do that because that violated our policy too, but I could call my daughter and say, go in on your computer and vote, you want this, or, I guess and
Yeah.
when you have an election.
I guess,
Well, this isn't an election,
Well, but
it's a survey, and I don't, and this isn't the final one either, they're trying to narrow it down to 3 possibilities with this thing, and then there will be some type of vote.
I thought I saw something that had 3.
yeah, it was,
It's 3, but it's the mask,
It's 3, but
they're
there's
independent, the
combinations.
mascots and the names are independent.
Okay, all
So
right.
actually,
So
there's
there's
9.
9.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is 9. Okay. Thought it was 3 also.
So, what about
I thought there was just 3.
there's
3
3 school
school
names
names
and
and
3
3
mascots.
mascots.
Right.
3 mascots.
So there's
You
9
can make
potentials for
combinations.
combinations.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, I know my older daughter in high school received the survey via email. But like, what about my 6th grade students? Like, how
Got
are...
it today.
Did they get it today?
They
Okay.
got it today.
So I was just kind of
5th and
wondering
6th
how we were engaging the younger ones that,
They were
Are-
supposed to get it on Friday too, but there was a issue with my email.
Okay.
But it's fixed.
I just want to be able to make sure that all of our kids are getting the ability to have their say in their vote because they're pretty interested in it.
Yeah, and just a comment, that's neither here nor there, but the split on the watersheds is at least 2 districts removed from ours.
Right, right.
It's by the HIPTAC entrance.
What do you mean?
That's
It must be
close
limited.
to the Mississippi watershed.
Right.
I could,
You get the,
It's the-
water doesn't go in
it's-
3 directions from our
Oh.
district or our consolidated district.
Right, it
goes
doesn't.
in 2.
Actually,
You lost me there for a minute.
actually, the 3-way continental divide starts north of Virginia.
It's in one spot, the 3-way divide. It's by the entrance to HIPTAC. I believe there's a monument memorializing that.
so does anybody, even outside our school district, get to vote on this? Is this, when you said anybody, or is it just school district resident, or people, kids and,
When you put a survey out, there's no way that you can control it.
it's anybody and everybody, okay, okay.
I know there's been a lot of chatter
Alumni.
about it, a lot
Lots
of
of
people
comments.
talking about it. The one thing that I was disappointed about was I was hoping that there'd be some sort of iron range attached to the school name. Just because I've gone to many sporting events, many tournaments, things like that, and when you look at, like Rock Ridge, people are gonna say, where is that? And they're gonna be searching on their phones and looking for where Rock Ridge is. So I was hoping that there would have been a choice that was Iron Range or
I heard,
Just think about Walmart. That's where it is.
that.
That's
Yeah,
actually the name of the subdivision of Rock Ridge.
yeah, I heard that as
Right.
well.
and then I heard that Heritage Manor is actually a name of an old folks home
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Heritage, and that Laurentian is, just.
Everyone has
name of
Every-
heritage, almost everyone has rocks. Only a few have the wrench.
I blame the whole thing on Angie, because I have stayed so clear of everything involving this, because I don't even want to be associated with it. Whatever you guys pick, it's fine.
It's been fun. I mean, I think like I said, there's been a lot of chatter about it.
I'm
It's
just
been,
kidding, Angie.
it's been
You're gonna blame somebody.
fun listening to people. There's
Well,
been
Todd,
excitement
blame
about
Todd.
it.
The only question I had, I mean, I couldn't understand, if it's Rock Ridge or even that suggestion, the 2 schools of Virginia, they're not on the ridge, the new
Roosevelt and
Roosevelt and
Parkview.
Parkview. So that, to me, didn't make
See, I
sense.
still felt it wasn't gonna-
Neither here
I
nor
don't know,
there.
I think-
I think they need to go back and try again on the names.
Well, I feel like the elementary should still have, I mean, you can have a district name, I get that, but I think the elementary should still be named something else.
Well, I guess I was assuming that that would still happen.
That's what
That we'll have our
I voted
district
for.
name.
I got knocked down that day, you remember that?
Yep.
And I walked out of the naming meeting and I haven't been back since.
Because that, I guess that was my assumption, is that we would still have our district name, and then each of our schools will still have, I mean, right now, we have Eveleth Gilbert, but each of our schools still has a name to it, so I guess I assumed that that was gonna continue.
I didn't assume that because I had a lot of feedback that people wanted it to be one united name.
So
Like
how are they
Rockridge.
gonna review, how are they gonna, yeah, I mean, like Rockridge School District, but how are you referencing which school you're gonna go to?
Rockridge South Elementary. Virginia would be a bigger challenge.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Rock Ridge what? Parkview, Rock Ridge,
North.
Roosevelt?
North 8.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no,
Whatever.
okay,
Doesn't really flow off the tongue.
okay.
Okay, moving on.
We digress.
Where are we at?
Just a reminder, at December 2nd, there's a joint board meeting, that would be so on the 26th, that's everybody. And then the 2nd is just the joint board. Go ahead, Ange, talk a little bit.
We had this fall 6 state participants represent Eveleth Gilbert at the state level. Lydia Delich went for girls tennis. She won her first match and then lost her second. And then we had Natalie Foltz, and I think this is her 4th time representing Eveleth Gilbert for cross country, ever since she was in 9th grade. And she placed 51st at the state meet. And then this
I believe
past...
this is just a side note to that. I think this is Natalie's 6th or 7th consecutive sport where she's made it to state.
Crazy.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then this last weekend, we had the girls swimming. Ellie Jankala made the 50 freestyle. She placed 19th. Molly Albrecht was in the 100 freestyle, and she placed 19th at state. And then the 200 freestyle relay placed 20th, and that was Ellie Jankala, Amara Carey, Carly George, and Molly Albrecht. So congratulations to all 6.
I just wanted to mention to the board that we're gonna try again. We'll put a posting out in the next couple of weeks for industrial technology feature. George has told us that this is it.
Yeah.
So, he's urging us to find him a replacement, so we're gonna try early. Just a little bit about Franklin. I'll let you guys go, but we did have book fair and conferences last week, and it was very well. We actually we kept attendance. We had 92% of our kids had a parent show up. So
That's great.
pretty good. We had the book fair that went on, and we had a bunch of parents come in for lunch for the kids. I was going to put a picture on there, but I always get in trouble when I have random pictures, and I don't know if the kids are allowed to have pictures or not, so I took it off. But they were dressed up. The PTA did an awesome job last week, so I just wanted to thank them. They had dress-up days for the kids, and it was a lot of fun. And I do want to mention, in case anyone gets phone calls, we had some fairly significant issues with school pictures this year. The company is aware of that. We aren't the only school that have this issue. It's almost every school in the state that they have. A long story about why it happened, but anyway, they're willing to fix it, so they'll be back several times. We're sending a note out to parents that if you don't care for your pictures, that they will try to fix the situation by either fixing the picture or retaking the picture.
And we had picture issues as well in the 5th and 6th grade at the Nelshin. So, we had some students making the cut a couple weeks ago now already. 5th graders made the cut for respect. Congratulations to Ashlyn Peterson, Tyler Schreiber, and Jacob Kuhn. And 6th graders making the cut. Congratulations to Paige Larson, Zoe Thean, and Brooklyn Smith. And also I had the opportunity to attend the band and choir, high school band and choir concert last week, Thursday, and it was an excellent performance by both the choir and the band.
And at the high school, Mr. Strasser took his physics class to an engineering design competition, and they were making electromagnetic speakers. And we had a first place with Chloe Nybo and Johanna Lamy-Pickar, and then second place, Andrew Hackley and Stephen Johnson came in second place. So congratulations to those 4 students. And then we also had conferences as well, 7 through 12, in the new gym a couple weeks ago, and they were.
I bet you didn't have 92%.
We did not have 92%. I'm like, why did you have to say that?
Ours, of course, are scheduled.
Yeah.
A little bit. And for those electric magnet speakers, just so everyone understands too, I have saved my 1982 cassette player for many years for no apparent reason, and Mr. Strasser put it to good work on this project. So I resurrected it. Nobody else in the district had one. The kids would not have been able to complete this project without me and my boarding abilities. That's all we have, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So moving on to 15.0.
I kind of went through this stuff with you already, consolidation update wise, and we'll take the plan that you passed tonight. Virginia passed it last Tuesday, and we will send that to the commissioner. She has 60 days to decide whether to give it a yay or a nay, and she'll send it back here, and you'll have to review it again and make another vote on it at that time, and that will probably end of February, end of March, somewhere in that range. We'll
Do
see
you know
it
how
again.
far along the plat plan is, the new plat?
We have not heard from the county auditor about the plat yet. We have made the request that happens, but we haven't got one back.
Because that has to go with the consolidation plan to MD, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Would you want to throw like a 15.3 in there in discussion about meeting with the city of Gilbert a couple of days last week?
Oh, yeah, that could have been a part of my
Okay.
admin report. I didn't put it in there, but the 4 of us on the end of the table went to meet with the city of Gilbert. About what to do with the building. It was very, step one, I mean, do you even want to have a conversation about this or not? And they seemed like, I mean, Bill kept asking if they want to buy it. They obviously won't commit to that, but we're willing to have a conversation about what the possibilities are, and we decided that we would meet once a month, try to explore some things and see where it goes, what's going on.
It wasn't so much buying it, it was basically expressing interest in the building for repurposing. And we couldn't quite, Mayor Oberstar has this big vision, which I totally, I'm on board with his vision. Okay, but, he's got to make it happen at the city level, with the council members and the citizens of Gilbert to find a way if they want to repurpose that building and such, so. All right.
On with that, though, we talked about having the same type of a meeting with the Eveleth City Council. Have you scheduled that?
That's going to be a lot different meeting, but,
Well,
yep.
why don't you schedule something?
So we
Try and
will-
schedule something for us.
So we're gonna get the dates when we're gonna meet with the city of Gilbert again, correct?
Yeah, the clerk is supposed to be calling that.
Okay, and then we'll, like Polly said, we'll be scheduling something with Eveleth,
Mhm.
and then you'll give us dates on that.
I thought we were going to do that from the last meeting.
It's going to be a while before we get to the city hall.
I just noticed, did you take off we had visitor input in the beginning and then we had comments at the end? Sometimes it's on and sometimes it's not.
What's that?
Have you taken it off?
What's that?
Comments at the end.
Comments,
Oh,
public
public
comments.
input?
Public comments at the end. I just
Oh,
noticed now that it's not here.
I just.
Are we not going to have that anymore? Or?
We have it at the
I'm just asking, did you
I
make
mean,
a decision to take it
No,
off?
I guess, I didn't even notice it wasn't there, to be honest with you, so you put
Okay.
me on spot.
No, that's the answer. That's
I
the
know.
answer. It was overlooked, that's all.
I can't speak on my feet, like as Matt would say.
We-
Okay. I'll get you an answer for that. 16.0, board member topics. Tom, start with you. Holly, you have nothing?
Nothing.
I have nothing.
I just want to also agree with Mr. Grip that I attended the high school choir and band concert, and he did great. And we have very, very musically gifted students in our school.
Director Lotiger.
I'm sure I'm gonna think of something after I leave here, but
Then save it for you to go. Save it for next week.
today.
Director Schoberg.
I missed those band concerts, probably could have gone, but I am looking forward to the onset of the winter sports seasons.
Director Yuhan.
Well, I would just say, well done to those parents for that 92% on the conference. That's excellent.
All right, that being said, 17.0, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Moved by Director Sather, can I get a second? Support by Director Lotiger. All in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. This meeting is adjourned.